Have you ever had that moment in your life when something happens and you think, this has to be a sign? Well, my friend, this has a name: synchronicity. Carl Jung, one of the smartest guys in psychology, thought that when these coincidences happen, it is the universe trying to tell us something. Just imagine, you wake up thinking about an old friend who disappeared from the world, and out of nowhere, he calls you or appears in your news feed. Are you saying it's not scary? Jung believed that these moments are like a chat between our mind and the world around us. So, if you've ever felt like the universe is sending you a message, it might be time to open your eyes. A trick that helps a lot? Start writing down these coincidences in a diary. You will be surprised at what you can discover. Now, why is it so important to understand these synchronicities? Think of it this way: it's as if the universe is giving you spoilers about your own life. Who never wanted a map to better navigate turbulent days, right? People like Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla believed that the universe has a special way of working and that we can hack it if we know how to listen to our intuition. But, well, the modern world is so noisy that we miss these touches. Do you know when you get that feeling of dropping everything and moving to another city, or doing something that no one expected of you? So, it could be the universe nudging and saying, "Come on, buddy, trust." And the reality is that, sometimes, following this intuition can change everything. The magic of synchronicity is that it's happening all the time, but we need to train our radar. Sometimes it's subtle, like a phrase you hear in the supermarket queue that answers that question that's been nagging at you. Or a book that you accidentally find and that seems to have been written just for you. Crazy, right? And the best part, you don't need to be a spiritual guru to understand these things. Just be present and, as they say, with an open heart. So, the next time you see that coincidence that leaves you confused, how about giving it a chance and going with the flow? Who knows, maybe the universe is trying to give you a vision like that. The people there used to know a lot about life. The Stoics, for example, had an idea that is pure genius, focusing on what you can control and letting the rest go with the flow. Nowadays, with the rush, who thinks like that, right? Everyone is stressed, wanting to have control over everything and, in the end, just punching each other at the tip of a knife. How about taking it easy and taking a look at practices like meditation or a simple habit of giving thanks before bed? Little things that can do a lot of good, like bringing back that knowledge from other times. Because, seriously, these guys already had the entire game in their hands and didn't even need Wi-Fi. And here comes a very intriguing thing: it seems that much of this knowledge has been hidden or, at least, distorted over time. Are you into those secret societies, like the Illuminati, Freemasonry? Well, they say they have kept these golden secrets forever. Today, we see things like the law of attraction gaining hype, but these ideas are not that new, no. They are just a modernized version of what the wise men of millennia ago already knew. And between you and me, when you start to apply this ancient knowledge to modern life, things can get much more interesting. Who doesn't want to have a secret manual for how life really works? The cool thing is that these secrets aren't even that hidden, if you know where to look. Books like The Secret History of the World give clues that there is much more to what we learn at school. Think of the pyramids in Egypt or the ancient temples in Asia. What are these monuments trying to tell us? Maybe they keep pieces of this ancient wisdom that, if we get it back, can give us that up in our perception of life. Would you like to explore these ideas? In the middle of this ride you end up finding that missing piece in the puzzle of your life. Tell the truth, have you ever stopped to think that what we learn at school is just the tip of the iceberg? There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we imagine. Think of the pyramids in Egypt, those giant statues on Easter Island, or even the enigmatic Machu Picchu. Do you think these places were built just for decoration? None of that. There are people out there who believe that these structures are loaded with secrets and lost knowledge about the universe and human nature itself. Seriously, have you ever felt that these old things have something magical about them? Like, as if they had a different energy that we can't explain. If you're not sure, there are a lot of answers hidden in these places that we haven't even begun to uncover yet. And look, this isn't just conspiracy theory talk, no. People like Graham Hancock, who wrote the book Fingerprints of the Gods, go deep into this idea that there were super advanced ancient civilizations that knew much more than us about the cosmos, the world, and even ourselves. And then, if we think that much of this knowledge has been deleted from official history or lost over time, it leaves us wondering, are we missing a lot of important things? The stories about Atlantis and other ancient civilizations are not just fairy tales, but little pieces of a giant puzzle that is missing. Have you ever thought how crazy? Who knew that the secret to understanding the universe could be buried out there, waiting to be discovered? Now, how do we connect with this lost wisdom nowadays? Look, the truth is that you don't need to be Indiana Jones to start. How about looking through books that challenge your ideas, like The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall? You can learn a lot about symbolism and secrets that are right under our noses. And the cool thing is that these readings can give you that click that, perhaps, the world is much more fascinating and mysterious than what we learned about at school. So, the tip is this: be curious, take a look outside the box and get ready to open your mind to some ideas that can really move you. Who knows what you might discover? Have you ever heard the one that says, "It's all connected, bro"? It sounds like something out of a movie, but remember, there's more truth there than it seems. Most of us go through life in automatic mode, without even realizing how our thoughts affect our bodies and, consequently, what is going on around us. Have you taken a look at Masaru Emoto's work? The guy wrote The Hidden Messages in Water and proved that our words and thoughts can literally change the molecular structure of water. It gives you a bug in your mind, right? Now, imagine what this means to us, as it is basically made of water. If we live with a head full of negativity, what kind of impact can this have on our health and our daily vibe? The thing is, ancient traditions have always known about this thing that mind, body and spirit need to be in tune. Practicing yoga, for example, is much more than just a fancy stretch to post on Instagram. It's a way of tuning the body and mind using breathing as a kind of guide. When everything is in harmony, it seems that the universe responds at the same pace. You know that feeling of everything is flowing and that things are falling into place? Well, it's not just luck, no. It's just that, when we align ourselves, the world around us kind of takes a flip and aligns itself together. It's like a cosmic combo of good vibes. And here comes the golden tip: you don't need to become a Zen master to start feeling this connection. You can start with some very simple practices that fit into anyone's routine. Meditate for a few minutes a day, take a walk in nature to breathe some fresh air, or even do those breathing exercises that help calm the mind. All of this could be a way to adjust your internal dial, to better tune into what's going on in the universe. And hey, if this helps you have more peace of mind and clarity in your everyday life, it's already worth it, right? How about trying it? Sometimes, it's these small changes that make a huge difference. Have you ever heard of that little internal voice that sometimes chimes in and we end up ignoring it? Well, that voice is intuition, or as some like to call it, the famous sixth sense. And I'll tell you, bro, when you start paying attention to that voice, the game changes. We live in such a rush, always with our heads full of worries, that we don't even stop to feel what our hearts are saying. The thing is that this intuition is like an internal GPS, pointing out directions that logic often cannot see. Have you ever noticed that when you follow your feeling, things seem to flow better? Well, it's not just luck. It's the universe trying to help you. So, when in doubt, stop for a moment and listen to what your heart wants to say. And then you ask me, okay, but how do I strengthen this intuition? The answer may be simpler than it seems. First, you need to shut out the noise around you. If you can, try to set aside a few minutes of your day to be in total silence. No cell phones, no TV. Just you with yourself. There are people who think that intuition comes from something supernatural, but the truth is that it is within all of us. Have you ever heard of gut feeling? Well, it's not for nothing that we use the term gut, intestine. It's as if our entire body has its own wisdom. And another hot tip: keeping an intuition journal is a good idea. Write down those weird sensations or thoughts that come out of nowhere and see what happens. Sometimes, the universe speaks louder than we imagine. What fascinates me most is how intuition is linked to this idea of synchronicity that we talked about before. Like, when you start listening to your intuition, it's like the universe says, now he understands the game, I'll send him more tips. And that's when you start to notice that things fit together in a way that you can't explain. You think of someone and they call you, or you feel like you should take a different route home and then discover that you avoided a lot of traffic. Coincidence? It might even be. But when these coincidences start to become routine, it becomes difficult not to believe that there is something bigger going on. So, here's a tip: give that inner voice a chance, it's showing you the path through the stones. Let's talk about transformation? No, it's not that cliché self-help talk. I'm talking about changing your reality using knowledge that not everyone knows. Check it out: have you noticed that people who stand out in life are generally in tune with ideas that are out of the ordinary? They don't just stay on the surface of things, they go deeper. And many of them end up discovering that the power to transform anything lies within themselves. Sounds like movie talk, right? But think with me: if you start to believe and act as if the world were your playground, where you can create the reality you want, things start to happen differently. And look, this isn't just bullshit, no. There are many people who are experiencing this change in practice. What happens is that this hidden knowledge is not so hidden after all. It's more of a well-kept secret in plain sight. There are people out there talking about manifesting dreams, the law of attraction, energetic vibrations, and so on. Have you heard of The Secret? Many people think it's just a self-help book, but the idea behind it is very deep. What you think and feel, you create. It seems simple, but it's a challenge. Controlling your thoughts and feelings in a society full of stimuli and chaos is not easy. It's a daily workout. But for those who want to get out of automatic mode, this could be the key to opening a new door in their life. Now, let me tell you a secret: this transformation doesn't have to be drastic or immediate. You can start slowly, making small changes. Have you ever heard the one about fake it till you make it? Well, if you start thinking and acting like the person you want to become, it's incredible how the universe seems to conspire in your favor. Are you a little lost on where to start? How about creating small gratitude rituals? Or, perhaps, visualize your future self and what it would be doing now. It sounds silly, but it's amazing how these small changes in mentality start to attract new things. At the end of the day, what do you have to lose? Let's test this stop and see if it doesn't make any sense. Who doesn't want to attract good vibes, right? Let's agree that, with so much going on in the world, we need some tricks to keep our energy up. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's the simplest rituals that make the biggest difference. For example, have you ever stopped to think about the power of waking up and being grateful for the good things you already have? It seems silly, but think with me. If you start the day focusing on what's positive, you're already sending the universe that signal that you're ready to receive more of the same. Have you ever heard that, like attracts like? So, being grateful isn't just about being polite, it's about being strategic. A tip I give: before getting out of bed, mentally list 3 things you are grateful for. It could be something silly, like hot coffee or the sun shining outside. Just try this for a few days and see what happens. Another ritual that can change the game is the famous energy cleansing. No, I'm not talking about incense and crystals, but if you like that, go for it. I'm talking about cleaning up the things that no longer serve you. You know that heavy feeling when the house is a mess? Well, it's not just psychological, no. There are people who believe that the external mess reflects the internal mess. So, cleaning up your space, whether it's your home, your bedroom or your desk at work, can be a way to release stagnant energy. And hey, there's a magical stop when you get rid of old things. It seems to make room for new things to come in. Want some advice? Let go of what no longer serves you and see how the air becomes lighter. And there's also that classic, connecting with nature. It may seem like Zen talk, but there is some truth to it. Take it from me, take a walk in the park, feel the wind on your face, touch a tree. These simple things have a transformative effect. We've gotten so used to concrete and screens that we've forgotten how good the real floor feels. And best of all, it costs nothing. So, the next time you feel a little low, go for a walk in nature. Take a deep breath, smell the woods and notice how it calms you. It's as if nature has the power to reset our system, you know? Sometimes, that's all we need. Now let's talk about something that we often ignore: creating our own belief system. It seems a little heavy, right? But let me explain. Most of us grow up absorbing what we were taught, whether at school, at church, at home, and we don't even question it much. But, throughout our lives, we come across some experiences that make us think, hey, does what I believe really make sense? And that's where the cool part comes in: you have the power to shape your own beliefs. Want an example? Many people believe that they need to work hard, 60 hours a week, to be successful. But isn't there another way? What if you could work smart, follow your passions, and still have a prosperous life? Wouldn't it be more interesting? And remember, creating your own belief system doesn't mean throwing everything you've learned away. It means adapting things to what works for you. It's like putting together a puzzle where you choose the pieces that make sense. Maybe you believe in science, but also feel a strong connection to spirituality. So what? Who said you can't mix? There's even a book called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, which is like a manual on how to create your own code of conduct based on Toltec wisdom. The idea is simple: live according to what resonates in your heart, not what you were told to believe. And I'll tell you, when you do that, life starts to have a different flavor. Ultimately, the most important thing is that by creating your own belief system, you take control of your life. And that's freeing, man. You stop living automatically, following what others expect, and start being the author of your own story. Of course, sometimes it's a little scary to break away from what's comfortable, but you know what? Magic happens outside the comfort zone. So, how about taking a look at your beliefs and seeing which ones still make sense to you? Maybe it's time to reformulate some, add new ones and, who knows, leave some behind. At the end of the day, it's your life, and you have every right to choose what you believe.